Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines, provide some insight, and actually give you some information that you can apply, utilize, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life out there, because we are about keeping people in business. It's the reason why I fly this American flag proudly every single day, is because I want to see people live out their American dream just like I'm able to do. And, you know, that's what's most important, you guys. We are the backbone of the U.S. economy. Without our industry, we're fucked. Let's call it what it is. But that being said, got to give a shout out to my friends over at VHub. They're the ones who keep this neon light on every single day for us here, you guys. Access to trailers, we all need them, right? Broker, shipper, carrier alike, we all need them. If you're a broker, you got to get creative at times in the sales process. You know, just going in with the same old line of we can save you money or we have some trucks in your area, it's played out. All right. So now on VHub, you guys, you can literally create a drop trailer pool at your customer's facility. And the best part about it, you guys, if you're a small carrier, you can get paid to move these trailers on VHub. Right now, with what they're working on, you guys, they got Paragould, Arkansas going up to Orting, Washington, $1,550 to move that. That's on top of the revenue that you put in the back of that trailer. They also have it down in West Palm Beach going up to Messina, New York. You get paid $1,500 to do that. And then also Ron Burgundy's hometown of San Diego going to Irving, Texas, $600 to move that. And again, you guys, this is on top of the revenue of putting it in the back of the trailer. And then Clearfield, Utah going into Henderson, Colorado, $700 to do that, you guys. So again, hit them up, vhubapp.com. My friends Xavier Campos and my friend Stacy Steen, they'll be in the audience here. And just do me a favor, let them know that the Freight Coach sent you. I got my resident LTL expert on the show here today, you guys. He's here to break down all things like that. You guys know him. He's the man from Rocket Shipping, Mr. Gabe Pankinen. Gabe, thank you for joining me today, sir.
Hey, it's always a pleasure, Jolly. Thanks for having me on again, man. Let's go.
Dude, absolutely. You can't not have you on the show. I don't know LTL. You know LTL. You know,
well,
I know.
I try to, right?
Yeah, exactly, man. Like, I know what LTL is, obviously, but like, I never got into it at the end of the day because I, you know, like most people, it was a lot more challenging than just like booking a truckload. And I just didn't want to fuck around with it after a while.
There's certainly a lot higher volume every day, so it's a lot more to manage. Fewer check calls, though, I will say that. So
that's always a good thing. So what's going on in the LTL market? I know I saw a post out there earlier this week shitting on something. What was it, the fucking model, the agent
model, and it's a scam. Yeah.
What was that about?
You know, I think if you look for the bad in anything, you'll find it. And you know, the 3PL world, as far as franchises, agents, whatever you want to call it, that's been the only way to enter the market for over a decade. And so there certainly is, you know, a lot of people out there taking advantage of it transactionally. But I had to throw a few comments out there that's actually a really successful business model. And there's been a lot of, you know, people and employees and business owners that have had a chance because of that model. And the shippers, the small, medium-sized businesses, have been able to stay in business during years like the last couple because of the blanket rates and service provided by agents. And so I thought it was important to say that.
No, absolutely, man. I loved it. And that's the thing, dude, is it's like you need to, because and it's always, man, again, I don't know the author of that post all too well. I don't know their history in it. I usually see a lot of the people who talk the most shit on things are a W-2 employee who get a direct deposit every 2 weeks and don't understand what it's like. And if that individual has started companies before, more power to them. I don't know their background, but my general consensus is the people who talk the most shit don't have any real experience in it. And, you know, and you're right, man, the agent model is a phenomenal model. And it is like, I don't think people realize the upfront costs that are associated with brokerage as a whole. And, you know, if you talk to a lot of people who got out there and actually started their own brokerage, there are a lot of pain points that these individuals go through because, you know, business credit, you know, if you don't have that, shippers don't work with you. Oh yeah. And carriers don't work with you as well. And then Furthermore, there's factoring companies that won't work with you either at that time. So it's like the agent model is a phenomenal model to get started in, especially if because it's, for the most part, it's very little upfront cash required to start. And if you got a book of business, if you have industry experience, if you're looking to get your feet wet in entrepreneurship, it's a phenomenal opportunity that's out there for a lot of individuals who take advantage of that. I mean, my man, Zach Williams, he's with SPI Logistics. You guys want to become a freight agent with them as well? Hit them up, SPI3PL.com. Rick Wooten, good morning, sir. Connor Foster, freight to the fucking moon, baby. Let's roll.
Let's go, Connor.
Holy shit. I haven't seen Nerf. I haven't fucking even heard from you in a long time. What's up,
dude? He's in Europe.
He's in Europe now. God, Nerf is great, man. It was, Zach, it was a post on LinkedIn, actually. I don't think it was an actual article. It was a post, right?
It was an actual written post.
All right. I'll Zach, I'll get that over to you. I'll find it. Sonny Sharma, good fucking morning. You are correct, sir. 75 hard starts to, yes, Lewis, there we go. First owner up. Dude, let's roll, bro. Let's roll. Get it up, man. Post that shit up there. I'm on my second round right now. I started because I got a lot of shit going on in my personal life and professional life. And I love being as dialed on that as possible. That's what I love the most about that program. So 75 hard, it's free, guys. That's the best part about it. Bill McIntyre, good fucking morning to you too, sir. Let me see. Devon, good morning, sir. What's okay, dude? So back to the LTL shit. Where are you? So I think LTL, like in your experience, man, is, what, like, again, like with the economy, all the shit that's in the news all the time, is LTL, do you think it's like the last freight segment to get affected by market shifts, or is it the first?
I think it was the last to take pricing increases over the last couple of years.
I'm just anyways.
No, I think it was the last to take price increases, but because truckload markets are so sensitive to like fuel prices immediately overnight, right? And so market conditions, it's an immediate impact, and LTL lags behind. And then, of course, I think it lags behind on correcting itself as well. And so it's kind of a lagging indicator. But I will say, in one of the articles we're going to discuss about XPO and other carriers like them, I think the market, they're showing that the increases are done in LTL, and it's mirroring the truckload, right? However, I will say LTL, there's going to be some carriers that hold on for dear life to these overlength fees and the accessorial charges, and it'll never go back to baseline like truckload might. So,
yeah. So, I mean, speaking of that, we'll jump into that article first here right away. It's also, here's your daily reminder or slap in the face if you are filling up at the pump. It's $5.11 nationwide for diesel. I wonder if they're going to come out and say now that they're responsible for the rise over this one, because they were really quick to say that they were responsible for it falling, but never had any accountability for when it was rising. It's just going to see. You're going to see, man.
It's amazing how that works, right, Charlie?
Yeah. It's the hypocrisy of the establishment. That's our left or right slap right there. That's not directed at the current administration. It's the fucking establishment as a whole. First article, though, Gabe alluded to that here a little bit ago. Amanda Holiday, good morning. XPO isn't breaking for economic slowdown. This was written by my friend Bill Cassidy with JOC. This article is from JOC.com. The U.S. economic recovery may be slowing, but XPO is in expansion mode. The company has opened 5 new terminals with 345 doors in the past year. It's far from finished. By the end of 2023, XPO plans to add another 555 terminal doors, a 6% increase in its door count. In LTL, there's more demand building than in the capacity being added to the market, says Mario Harik, who will be the new CEO of XPO once the spinoff of its brokerage business is completed. LTL over time will gain ground because of more demand from shippers across the board. That demand may soften over the next year, pulling LTL trend line down, but over the next several years, demand is going to rise. Harik, who is the current president of LTL for XPO, told the JOC. We're very bullish about the industry long-term and the actions we're taking now to add capacity into our own network. Where are you at with that? Because I personally think they're right. They're like, hey, we're putting our feet down and we're making shit happen.
Yeah, I'm as bullish on LTL as you'll find. And I think kind of marrying the two concepts of, we were talking agent models and how that, can impact the market and if it's a scam or not. Right. But I'm just so bullish on LTL from our clients or the actual small, medium-sized businesses out there. They got hammered during the last 2 years on LTL accessorials, rates, fuel surcharges. And even though things are going to slow down, maybe economically, this is a sign that XPO is saying, one of my favorite lines from it, we're pivoting from a strategy of improving margin to one of growth. That is where I love to go to market like that, because if you can work with a company like XPO or other carriers who are going to follow suit, we can actually help the small, medium-sized businesses cut their LTL freight bill, because they're not pricing for margin anymore. Now they want new growth. Well, that means they want to work with companies, like they said, that are going to be growing 50% or 100% year over year organically, and that'll fuel XPO's growth. And that's why I think not even just the agent model, but like the working with the small, medium-sized businesses and helping them in an economy that's downturn, and getting them 15, 20% savings back on the LTL. That's what I think is LTL or XPO is signaling here. Like, hey, we're going to price for growth, because LTL demand is going to be there in 3 years or 2 years. It might dip, but we're ready to build more.
No, and that was something that I was talking about the other day, where I think that the days of the long haul trucker are going to start shortening, because you don't necessarily need to move something from Los Angeles to Richmond, Virginia anymore, or Seattle down to Miami. That need isn't there with the increase in that. And again, it's a direct reflection of consumer behavior. It's the we need it fucking right now, we need it yesterday style.
Yeah, it's driving that. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of larger retailers they're putting up warehousing within, like, I mean, it's essentially like the Walmart effect or the Amazon effect. They need distribution centers within like 500 miles of each other to ensure that their customers that demand is met. And, and that's what Mario Hark and other LTL executives are really doubling down on, is customers are shipping more small shipments and more SKUs, and more products are being made and everything. And that, because again, consumers expect goods to be closer to home. And with all of this happening, more products are flowing into the LTL business that's out there. So again, it's not that I think trucking is going away. It's not going away. I just think it's going to be more of a regionally based need as a whole. That's not to say that those long haul shipments won't exist. They'll still exist, but it's just going to start looking a little bit differently.
Yeah, and I think the long haul shipments will exist, but maybe not on the spot market in the same capacity, because they're going to be going inventory instead of, just in time manufacturing. That's still going to exist. But I mean, we're working with a large retailer right now that it's not a client of ours, but we're talking with them.
Yeah.
And they have 30 or 40 stores across the US, and they're shipping LTL out of the retail store. They're not even going to warehouses. They're just saying the product's already there. And so I think there's a lot of retailers that are going to be pivoting to that strategy. Then again, growing the LTL sector, because they already have the inventory located at their retail store. The customers are buying it online, and then instead of doing local delivery, they're shipping it LTL to the house.
Yeah. And, again, that article was from JOC.com. XPO isn't breaking for economic slowdown. I would definitely read that article out. And I'm kind of tie in this next one here, because it's to your point of what you're talking about. And this is one thing. So this next one is from the Wall Street Journal, WSJ.com. Best Buy says supply chain strains are improving heading into fall. The electronics giant is getting some relief in transportation costs as capacity in international and domestic networks becomes more readily available. And for me on this one, dude, it was so like, I buy all of my shit from Best Buy, because they got
I love it.
Total Tech membership, covers it all for a couple of years. It's phenomenal.
The Geek Squad is great.
Dude, they are fucking fantastic.
It's like a commercial for Best Buy here.
I know. Chris at thefreightcoach.com if you're interested. But but like for me though, man, when I go in there, it's, this is to kind of curtail off of the JOC article. When I go in there, they don't have it in the Gilbert or Chandler store, which is closest to my house here in Arizona. They have it over in Glendale. Dude, they ship it directly to my house same day. It'll be there within an hour. So it's like those traditional, like they don't have to put it into a warehouse in Los Angeles, have it overnighted or anything. Like they will literally go above and beyond for consumer behavior right now. And for me, it's like, I think that's, because again, what their Best Buy is essentially in this article to me was, man, like they're seeing a stabilization of the market. Weird. I don't know who else was saying that earlier this year, but somebody else
earlier, June, July, somebody.
I don't know where it was, but my big takeaway from this article though was, it's normalizing, like that pandemic rush of things has kind of eased, and then a lot of the freight has made it now inland. Some of the ports, like I think LA had like 9 ships off the coast yesterday. Savannah was up though; they were up to like 40 something, I think I saw. But again, like I think that it's just the stabilization of what is going on out there, and then it's also going to be, I think, more of it's just going to look different is all. It's going to be the same thing, but it's just going to look different.
Yeah, I mean, for an example, like you said, you buy everything from Best Buy. We just had an employee start, and we're in Fargo, and they started in a different state. I just went on BestBuy.com with my Total Tech, and I just picked the store next to them, and they shipped it same day. More retailers are shifting to that now. Obviously, that's been Amazon's game the whole time, but they own all the warehousing, and now the retailers are saying to compete, instead of getting warehouses, we'll use our retail locations. So it's going to be pretty interesting for new, this is off topic, but new retail construction, like when they build those, I assume they build like inventory storage right into them now underneath the ground, whether they build the building a little bigger and they just hold things to be able to ship same day, instead of just what they'll have in stock for, in-person shopping.
Yeah, dude, and that because Best Buy in this thing said that inventories were down 6% at the end of the quarter. They also go on to say, well, it's important to manage inventory against current demand. We also want to ensure that we are well positioned to react to the ever-changing consumer needs that are in there. And they're also talking about that there's more negotiating power on the truckload side than what was out there and everything. And again, like I think that, let me see here, because it goes on about other large retailers about how they're overstuffed with goods after
Target, Walmart,
replenish inventories that depleted early in the pandemic, and many are now cutting prices to sell that merchandise and everything else. And yeah, I just think that it's again, it's just part of what you are going to go through in the market as a whole, and this is just a normal ebb and flow. And yes, the extreme levels that we saw over the last 2 years are just part of it. Like nothing. Yes, there was an extreme rise and an extreme fall in some sectors of it, but the market still operated the way that the market does. It was just the volumes that went through.
Yeah. I mean, we had to have known that was going to be corrected. It didn't fall off a cliff. It just corrected, and we're still above 2019 levels. So
yeah, exactly. And that one was from the Wall Street Journal, WSJ.com. Best Buy supply chain says supply chains are improving heading into the fall. And again, you guys, I put all the links to all of these articles up on the Freight Coach YouTube channel, as well as the Coffee with the Freight Coach audio only replay of this podcast. Do your own research, please, for the love of God. Don't take everything I say and run with it. Read these articles, do your own research and formulate it, and know how your customers could benefit from this. Cody Miller, good fucking morning, freight enthusiast, and day one of a new month.
It is day one, new month.
It is. Garrett Bowers, what's up, brother? Good morning, sir. Bill Paul, it should be a Best Buy is more than welcome to sponsor the show whenever they want.
I think they're a Minnesota company. I'll put a plug in over here.
Dude, exactly. If you could do that. And yeah, Garrett, maybe they will send us all an RFP. You never know, man. Pat Green, what's up, brother? Good morning. Right, man. The last article that we're going to talk about today was from FreightWaves.
Let's go.
Shipper's revenge is coming.
The revenge is here.
It is coming. I will say, preface to this, there was some decent information in there, and it was almost like somebody was watching a certain morning show about 6 weeks ago
at 10:30 Central.
10:30 Central, maybe the top morning show in transportation, and applied some of that theory into this article. There's also another company called Rocket Shipping. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they posted a clip of that this morning about our conversation back in the day. Really weird. I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird timing.
Ironic, actually. But a lot of it, though, what they're talking about is the pendulum swing, the market shift, and how one of the things was, and it was almost like verbatim, they were listening to this morning show out there. Let me find that. Where did that one go? I'm kind of jumping around here. But it was almost like it was verbatim that, oh yeah, here it is, that if you took advantage of the market, you're going to be out of a customer's graces, especially if you weren't providing service. Oh.
Yeah, the runway would be a little longer because of the market conditions, but eventually you weren't going to get those opportunities if you were taking advantage.
See, this is why I needed Jamie, like what Joe Rogan has, because then it was almost like they could find that clip and have it ready to be inserted in play.
You do need a Jamie, and we should start a movement to get the freight coach a Jamie, somebody like that, because you could just say clip it.
Exactly, insert clip, and then that would have been right there. But yeah, at the end of the day, I was very vocal about this earlier this year, that if you took advantage of the market as a whole, that you're going to be fucked. And frankly, as you should, because if you're out there and you're overcharging a customer, you're providing shittier service, and then you're just throwing your hands up in the air saying, "Oh, it's the market." You don't need to be moving freight. At the end of the day, you don't need to be moving freight. And that's the one thing that I just, dude, it's just so wild to see that this isn't news to me. Like that, I don't think this is news to any sales rep out there. If you suck at your job, you're going to get kicked out.
Yeah, it turns out that's how it works.
I know. Really weird, man.
No, I thought it was interesting. They literally said, but for those carriers that did exploit market conditions for their favor, get ready for shipper's revenge. And obviously they're a media company. They have to have a little clickbait. Shipper's revenge. That is pretty edgy, but that's what you've been saying. That's what, anybody who's, been doing it for a while or runs business the right way has been saying. Don't take advantage of this. I get excited about things like this because I'm like, man, this market's finally going to be whoever's actually better at running the business and does the things the right way wins. And so it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Where was that other kind of there's a couple of lines. I don't know. I want you guys to read this article if you can. But yeah, it was something. There was just a bunch of stuff that, it's just kind of it was after I'll move before moving pay forward shippers, but that's not actually the warnings. Yeah, it's talking about how like when you reject a tender, it's a passive aggressive way, and it's almost like God. It was almost like reading an article off of a fucking gossip website for But yeah, a lot of it is true in there though. And I wouldn't call it a shipper's revenge. It's just going to be surprise, surprise, motherfucker.
It turns out we have the leverage again.
Yeah.
And I think that goes to the Wall Street Journal article. Best Buy said it in a real nice way. The market's a bit more favorable for trucking negotiations. Well, what that means is like, hey, we're going to get the price we want again. Yeah. And we couldn't before. So,
dude, and that's exactly it, man. And yeah, Tony Darnell, I got you, bro. Josh Krause says, "Oh no, the consequences of my action." I know. Who would have thought? Cody Miller. Yep. That's the replay moment. That is the replay moment right there. But no, at the end of the day though, you guys these lessons need to be learned. All right. Like I was a young hotshot broker who thought I had it all fucking figured out too at one point. Then I got repeatedly kicked in the fucking throat and learned eventually that playing the game, because that's what a lot of guys, want. They're like, oh, just play the game of the market. No. Fucking create your own market. For the love of God, create your own market. It's not as hard as you think. But what is hard is giving up your short-term mindset of making as much money today. I want to make as much money today as fucking humanly possible. But I also understand that I need to make money every month of the year to remain in business, because what's that one thing that everybody was all high on revenue, but they weren't paying attention to who was actually making money. They were posting big revenue monies, but they were losing money. And
and it just kind of goes to say, like, obviously you and I talked about this earlier this summer. You've been saying it on your show. You have to run a profitable business. You have to do things the right way. But in the last 2 years, and rocket shipping's only 2 years old. And so in the last 2 years, it's been a little frustrating that you didn't actually have to. But there's no more. I mean, I'm not saying there's no more, but VC money is not an easy get anymore. You have to be profitable, and you have to do things the right way so that you don't get the shipper's revenge, etc. Obviously, that's a little overplayed, but like you said, if you're a sales rep, if you don't do your job the right way, you get fired. Not just by your company that you work for, but also by your customers. So
yeah, I don't think, can you quiet quit a shipper? Is that what that is? That quiet quitting right there?
Oh man, quiet quitting. That's my favorite term lately. I tell you what, I used to just call that slacking, but I guess there's an actual term for that. Coasting.
You know what that is, bro? It's lazy ass motherfuckers who are trying to justify why they're shitty at their job to begin with. Because it's like, if you're not happy, just fucking leave. Oh yeah, well, you want to know why you won't leave? Because you're a shitty employee and nobody will fucking hire you. All right, like it's pretty simple. If somebody, and I'm not saying this is everywhere. All right, I know there are some shitty employers out there who take advantage of people, but if you're not happy, fucking quit. All right, go out on your own and
especially in this market where you can work remote. You don't even have to move towns to quit. You don't have to interview in person. So,
dude, that's exactly it, man. Like now more than ever, the opportunities are plentiful, you know, because the more and more shit that people put out there to scare you and to do other things to get you to go on the sidelines, somebody's making money in those moments. And you never know. It might be the person who's telling you, oh, all these things are really, really bad, to get you to fucking leave so they can. They're like, the real world works like this, you guys. There are fucking sharks out there who will literally look you in the eye and tell you how much they like you while their person behind you is walking up to slit your fucking throat. And they will do it with pleasure. All right. So this Candyland fucking mentality that some of you guys possess and think, like, I love that you guys have great hearts and you guys think everybody's good, but that ain't always the case. All right.
Yeah. And I'm a naturally trusting person, and I've already learned that lesson more than once. So I've surrounded myself with people that tell me that, hey, you don't need to just trust everything. So if you're a naturally trusting person, find somebody who's not and partner up with them. But yeah, I think the other thing too is, this is a little off topic on supply chain in general, but I think it's our workforce, right? It's the workforce in this industry. I read an article today about the gig economy, and it's like 9% of the workforce now. And I think that that's a direct correlation to the quiet quitting, is that they don't want to have the W-2 and they quiet quit and they can do gigs. And maybe gig economy picks up, but I don't know if that's a good thing, except for worker empowerment, being able to have multiple gigs. But if you quiet quit all of them, if you're not given, if you're not taking any initiative on all of them, then where do we end up? It's kind of an interesting question to pose.
Yeah, dude. It's I think though, again, it's like, this is like, we might have to go for another hour today, Gabe, but everything you just said there, I just think, to me, it's one of those situations where right now more than ever, there's like this opportunity that's in front of you isn't always going to be this way, because eventually what's going to happen is business owners, my assumption, are going to stop giving in to a lot of these quote unquote trends that people think, and what a lot of people don't see, because again, like, a lot of people are like, oh, that person makes so much money and this and that. What you don't see is the building phases of where that person, that founder, that business owner repeatedly got punched in the face every fucking day for 10, 15, 20 years to get to the point to where they are right now. And it's always easy to sit there and talk about that shit. And, again, man, there is no perfect answer. I think Todd Waldron, yes, you said it right. Quiet quitting is a participation trophy mentality coming.
Ooh, that's pretty good stuff.
I don't believe in participation trophies. Fortunately, my father threw away everything that wasn't a first place trophy that I got growing up, because I don't believe in them either. That's just not the way that the real world works, Yep. And I just think that, again, instead of, like, I think that my biggest issue, and this is what people don't talk about with this whole quiet quitting movement and all the gig, like all the stuff that you're bringing up there, you're only fucking yourself over.
Because in the long term, it's just as short-term gain or instant gratification. Yeah,
because the second you start allowing yourself to not live up to your standards and your potential, you're subliminally telling yourself it's okay to fuck off. All right. And I'm just coming from a place of experience here, because when I was fat, drunk, and miserable, I would have played into that whole quiet quitting bullshit. And that would have fucked me over long term. And it's accepting your life for what it is and taking actual action to improve your life. If you're not happy, fucking do something about it. Because you're only costing yourself. And that's what pisses me off about a lot of this fucking stuff out there, is you think you're helping somebody by giving them a parachute. You're not. You're fucking them over. And you guys need to realize this. And this is coming from somebody who literally 18 months ago was fucking 70 pounds overweight, and I was fucking drinking every fucking day of the week and everything else. I was fucking miserable. All right. And it took a lot of hard conversations with myself in the mirror to get over a lot of that bullshit, and the justification of, oh, it's okay to reward yourself. And, oh, if you're not happy at work, just fuck off for a couple of months at the expense of somebody else and then go do something. It's like, man, we just need it's okay, you guys. It's okay to live your life and be yourself and not play into some of these bullshit trends, because you're only going to fuck yourself over in the long term.
And if you actually buy into that mentality of what you said and you go and try to make something better and you really put yourself in a situation to succeed, and then you still have a terrible boss, quit and find a better one or do it yourself. But you're not going to find yourself in a position to work with, this is kind of what my mentality is, that I want to attract people to work with me and for me that are going to do great things. And so my vision has to be 10 times bigger than everybody else's, so that the people who want to go get it will see that and say, I want that too. Let's partner up. I'll work for him because he's going to take me there. And maybe along the way, some of my employees go start their own businesses, because that's the type of person I'm going to probably attract. But if you're out there and you're in your job and you're quiet quitting and you take the initiative and you really put in the effort and you still get screwed, then quit. But you owe it to yourself to see if you can do it, and then go ahead and say, okay, this boss actually doesn't do it. I do need to quit. I do need to do it on my own.
And one thing as we kind of wrap up the show, the world's not against you. I hate to fucking break it to some people. The world's not against you. You're against you. And that was my biggest problem. But that's it for today, you guys. Freight Coach Morning Show's top morning show in transportation. Gabe, how does anybody find out more about Rocket Shipping? Are you guys hiring right now? Put all that out there for you.
We are hiring. Well, we don't need any more senior leadership. We're set, but we are hiring probably truckload carrier sales. That'll be our next hire. And LinkedIn is the way to find me. Go on LinkedIn, Rocket Shipping page, Gabe Pankinen, connect with my people, and we'll go from there. But I appreciate the time, Freight Coach.
Dude, all the time. You hear that, you guys? Gabe's got people now. I'm just kidding. Well, that's it for today, you guys. The Freight Coach Morning Show. We're the top morning show in transportation. We'll be live every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central. One small favor to ask, though, you guys, if you see value in this, share the show. All right. That's all I can ask at the end of the day, because if you see value in it, your network's going to see value in it as well. I appreciate you guys all so much.